country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, all right. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle, coming to you, of course, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios in Bloomington here on this Tuesday, August 13th. Man, we got a good one. Our man's back, Chronic Hoosier. He's back. Looking forward to talking to Chronic. He's been off for a few months, taking the summer, doing a lot of things work-wise and with the children and all that. Good, but great to have him back on the program today. Looking forward to it, man. He is always a great conversationalist. Looking forward to it, talking to Chronic today. Also, we're going to hear from Coach Tom Allen, Nick Sheridan. A little bit, we're going to hear from special teams coach William Inns. Kind of funny. It's a funny little clip, so look forward to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But in the sports world, if you've been looking at social media, you saw the Boston Celtics and the rookies sporting their new jerseys. Romeo Langford among that crew, of course. But man, it looks cool being in a Boston Celtics uniform. You just that's special, but you can check that out. But little news in the NCAA, Auburn, they may be in a little more problems. Bruce Pearl, he's used to being in the trouble with the NCAA, but they were a part of the FBI corruption trial. Chuck Person caught up into that thing and got him nailed in some stuff, and they were self-policing themselves. They put themselves under a self-ban, a recruiting ban for this long period that went from 2017, whenever this started, into 2018, if not into now. I forget when it actually the time period was. But during this time period, they were telling everybody that we're not doing any recruiting, we're doing no visits, nothing. Well, not so fast, my friend. It turns out that wasn't quite the case. Not only did one thing pop up, but all kinds of things started popping up. They actually brought an entire AAU team in to the program, including one of their big-time recruits. And there were other things like that, just recruiting, basically, when they said that they weren't doing this. And when they were asked about it, they just kind of hem-hawed around and basically got caught up in something there. But Bruce Pearl, as I said, this is not the first time he's been into it. He got fired at Tennessee, if you remember, for lying to the NCAA. So the fact that his program is again under scrutiny, and now this, who knows? And then again, Auburn is not an angel itself. It's been very familiar with NCAA trouble, so we'll have to continue following that. But then you've got to deal with Muppet Mark Emmert and the NCAA, who will be taking care of that. But it's kind of funny. Who polices the NCAA, by the way? I'd love to know, because this idiotic Rice Commission, it's a joke. They come out with this recently that prospective agents that are wanting to deal with the guys from college that may wanting to leave early, that they have to have a college education. And, of course, that started off a firestorm. LeBron James's agent does not have a college degree, but he's represented him for quite some time, in addition to several other guys. They kind of called it the Rich Paul rule, but whether it was actually aimed at him or not, we don't know. But anyway, they just quietly rescinded that after getting so much grief over the last week for being so idiotic. They don't even come out and acknowledge it. They just quietly change it, and hope that it'll just go away. Just hope that it sweeps under the rug, with typical NCAA fashion and Muppet Mark. What a bunch of clowns, man. They need to get rid of the Rice Commission. That's a joke. But I digress. But IU swimmers, man, they made a huge statement at the Pan Am Games. How about 11 medals, 4 gold, 2 silver, 5 bronze. Great time in Lima, Peru for all the Hoosier swimmers. IU post-grad swimmer Annie Laser captured her 3rd gold medal at the Pan Am Games, helping Team USA win the women's 4x100 relay. She also won gold in the 100 and the 200-meter breaststroke finals, so congratulations to her. Vinny Lanza helped Brazil win a silver. He swam the butterfly leg of a relay, and then you also had on the Canadian side, Bailey Anderson, another IU post-grad swimmer. Laura Morley won the Bifina of the That's supposed to be final. 200-meter intermediate finishing with a time of 2:18. So congratulations to all the IU swimmers. Man, IU could have a heavy, heavy presence at the Tokyo Olympics. This doesn't even include Lily King. So congratulations to all those guys and girls, and look forward to seeing them in the Olympics. That'll be cool as heck, man. There's so much going on. You got we just got done with our football media day at the Big Ten up in Chicago a few weeks ago. Then we had IU media day here. Now tomorrow I'll be live from Bill Armstrong Stadium. It's IU men's soccer media day, and actually when I planned the live broadcast, we had no idea that it was going to be men's media day. That just came out yesterday, I believe. But the women's soccer program has a match tomorrow there. I think they take on Northwestern in an exhibition match, but we had planned on being there anyway. So with the added of the men's media day, that makes it even better. So hopefully we're going to have Coach Yeagley on and some players. Coach Benecom from the women's side will have him on as well. Volleyball media day is today. So after I get off from here off the air, we've got to go out to football practice first because we're having an open practice today instead of tomorrow because they're not having practice tomorrow. So that really screwed the schedule around. Then we got volleyball media day tomorrow. Man, there's all kinds of stuff going on. This fall is here. It's time for the sports to get going. So looking forward to all of it, man. I can't wait. But football is one I'm really looking forward to. I'm not going to lie to you, but looking forward to getting back out there today. William Inge, who is the special teams coordinator for Indiana, he met with the media yesterday, and I got to tell you, he should be their spokesman. This dude is elaborate. He's eloquent. What a great speaker he is. But he's kind of funny too. Was telling a great story. Do you recall? Have you seen on social media? You know how you usually see specialist kickers and whatnot doing these trick shots? And I think last year, what was it? The place kicker, or the holder, they snapped two balls to him, and he held both balls or something, I think, and the kickers came and kicked it. But I saw one the other day where the holder was Hayden Whitehead was holding for Logan Justice, I believe, the place kicker, and so but he held it with his nose, which was brave, to say the least, man. That's like letting somebody throw a knife at an apple on top of your head or something. But, yeah, that's pretty brave. But yesterday when we were talking to William Inge, the special teams coordinator, he was asked about that very video, and pretty comical response. Let's hear what he had to say.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily say concerned, but I told him at least your nose ring came in handy. Because the one thing that they take our craft very serious. And that's what you want. So they can do a lot of things that you don't get to see on camera that are pretty unique and pretty specific to the group. I was just hoping that I thought we were going to have to deal with, at the worst, a broken nose. And I said, well, if you got a broken nose and it's facing to the left a little bit, hey, welcome to America, man.
William Inge talking about Aiden Whitehead, who's Australian. That's what the Welcome to America comment was about. He's Australian, but yeah, pretty funny, man. William Inge, but I look forward to playing more of that in the days coming with him. What a great speaker, man. It's awesome listening to him talk. But we're going to hear from Tom Allen today. We're going to hear from Nick Sheridan. And, of course, Chronic Hoosiers on the program. Man, he's a fan favorite. Looking forward to it. We haven't spoken to him in months. He's been hibernating, getting ready for the sports season, which is upon us. The Hoosiers kick off the football season August 31st, Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium against Ball State. That's a noon game. The day before that, the women's volleyball program kicks off their season that Friday. I will be live from Wilkinson Hall on that Friday, so look forward to doing that. Love broadcasting from the IU facilities and supporting all the IU programs. As you see that our coverage, we give you complete coverage of all Indiana athletics, not just football, basketball. We cover it all, man. We bring it to you, the coaches, the players, the whole deal. Looking forward to doing that. Like I said, tomorrow is IU Volleyball Media Day. No, that's today, rather. Man, I can't keep my schedule straight. That's today after football practice, which is open today. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but they changed it. So we got all kinds of stuff going on, man. It's so hard to keep this stuff and scheduled. It's just crazy right now with what's all going on. Looking forward to talking to Coach Yeagley and the men's soccer program at their soccer media day. They have reloaded. They're ranked number 2 in the country. So, man, they're just coming right back and going again. Can they get to a third consecutive College Cup? That'll be amazing to see. Looking forward to all the new renovations out at Bill Armstrong Stadium that they've been working on. So it's a lot of exciting things going on, man. They're redoing a lot of the locker rooms. I can't remember what all they're doing, but a ton of things. But looking forward to getting to see all that. So just all kinds of festive things, man. It's going on. And then we got a lot coming up here on the program today. We're going to be talking to Chronic Hoosier. We'll hear from Tom Allen. Stay tuned for coming up next. Reboot of Jordan Hulls. We got to talk to him before he hightails it back to Germany to begin his season with the pro team. But we got a lot more coming up from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. I'm Jim Coyle. We'll be back with more Indiana Sports Beat right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Hope your day is going good, but if not, we're about to make it better. One of our favorites, Jordan Hulls, former Hoosier basketball player, on with us again. Jordan, how are you, man?
Not too bad. Just finished up a workout at Cook with one of my good buddies, and just getting ready to head off to Germany. So get my last couple workouts in that I can, and ready to take off and get my season started.
And we greatly appreciate you taking the time to join us today, as you always are so gracious with your time. But it's amazing to me because it wasn't that long ago you were on, because you just got back. Now you got to leave again.
I know, time flies, especially when we're home in the summertime, and especially when you got two kids now. It seems like you can't stop time. So it's been a great summer for us, though. And as always, I appreciate you having me on. And a lot's changed since then as far as kids growing up quick, and just been all over the place and trying to do as much as we can in a short amount of time that we have in the summertime. It's been a great summer, and looking forward to going back over and then getting back home again.
Yeah, it's like a merry-go-round for you, and it's got to be so difficult. Not difficult, but much more challenging. A lot of the guys that are playing over there aren't married or have families, but you're married with kids, and you've got a lot of responsibilities besides playing basketball overseas. That's got to be a challenging schedule to maintain.
It definitely is, but it's a lot of fun for us too. The experience that we're getting out of it, especially for my kids growing up in a different country, learning different cultures, and having a wife who's willing to sacrifice her time. She's a nurse, and she's sacrificing not being a nurse at the moment to be over there with me and the kids, and it's pretty remarkable what she's doing for us as a family. But for us to be together over there and going through those life experiences each year, for us, it's been pretty special, and we don't take it for granted. And we're going to do as much as we can, and if I keep playing for a little bit longer and making those memories and stuff like that, it's going to be for the better in the long run. So we're excited to do it, and it does take a toll. It's hard traveling with two kids, going a long 8-hour or 13-hour flight, whatever it may be. It does get a little stressful, and it's a workout for sure, but it's part of it, and we're enjoying every moment.
And I know it's got to keep you on your toes because you have a pretty long season over in Germany. And then when you do come back, you've got family obligations and a time when you'd probably like to be able to relax. But that's probably one of the last things you get to do because with time being so precious, your camps you come back to and your family. And it's just so much. How do you manage getting all that stuff packed in to the short time you get to be home?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but, I try and plan everything out before I get home, so it's not a little, jumbled up when I do get home and I'm scrapping around trying to find time for this or that. But and I'm also thankful for, I live in Bloomington in the off-season, so it's where most of my family is, and we're able to do that, and we're sacrificing time. But we love what we do. We love doing the camps. We love getting to travel around and helping my dad out with his tournaments or whatever we may be doing. We do everything almost as a family. So even though we are busy traveling all over the place, we're usually always together. So that helps a lot. And a lot of planning, and especially for the camp, it's a family oriented type of thing. And once we get that figured out, then I can pretty much schedule everything else out that we want to do. But now with two kids, it makes it a little bit more difficult as far as, making sure that I'm home to help my wife and not just dumping the kids on her all the time. But, we make it work. And like I said, we have a lot of fun during the summer and wake up early, go to bed late, and try and cherish every single minute that we have here.
We just saw the TBT championship finals come to a conclusion the other night, and I saw Christian Watford send out a tweet, hey, let's get an IU team together. And you guys had a team a few years ago, but this is one of the things that makes that difficult because you've got so little time when you come back that taking 2 weeks out or however long it is for a tournament, that's got to be just too much overload for some guys like yourself, I would think.
Yeah, it does get a little tricky and tight at the end, especially because is we do take one family vacation where, we go to Florida or something for a week and just completely relax right before I take off. And usually TBT is during that time. So whether I'm flying back and forth, that's what I've done in the past, actually. I flew from like LA to New York. I was helping with the tournament, one of my dad's tournaments in LA. And I went from LA to New York back to LA, all within like 2 days. So it is a lot of work if I do that, but it's really fun playing in the TBT, especially if we have former teammates or guys who played at IU. If we played together, I would love to get a IU group together. It's been a little bit more difficult to get it done. We have some guys in the NBA, and timing wise, it's hard to get a lot of people on board. But it was cool when Will and Christian and we all played on the same team, and we haven't been able to do that in the last 2 years. But I would love to see that happen if we could get enough guys and not just a lot of guards playing. If we had some bigs, or if we, vice versa, you got to try and fill all the gaps. But it would be a lot of fun, and I'm sure Hoosier fans would really appreciate it, especially if they got it to, come close to home, whether that's in Indiana or, somewhere in the Midwest to make it easier for travel.
Yeah, we saw a couple former Hoosiers in the TBT. Mo Creek and Remy Abel did pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
They made it to a regional final before they were defeated there, but there were a couple Indiana guys in that. But yeah, it would be so cool because we see a lot of these teams. Well, the one that won it, or both of them that were in the finals, Marquette and OSU alums on both those teams. So people sure seem to take a lot of ownership, and Indiana just seems like a natural fit to not only have a team, but for that to be played here in Indiana. My gosh, you talk about selling some seats, that would not be a problem.
Yeah, I've told them every year, I was like, I don't understand why they wouldn't want to do it from a marketing standpoint, from ticket sales to, whatever. I think it'd be a huge plus for everybody involved in that. So if we could get that done, that'd be awesome. And, I think we'll try and look into that if it all works out. It'd be really cool.
And now, fortunately, over in Germany, you're going to have a familiar face in the upcoming season as an old teammate, Will Sheehy, is going to join you there on your German team.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Me and Will, we played 3 years together, and we were roommates one of those years, and we became good buddies, obviously, especially, we went through a lot at IU together. My first 2 years, his first year, when we weren't so great. You kind of form a bond, and I think that's why all of us were so close, is that we went through a lot of adversity together, and then we were able to taste some success the last 2 years of my career anyway. So I'm really excited about Will. He's a guy, he brings a lot of grit, some toughness, can do a little bit of everything, athletic, obviously, and I approached my team saying, like, if we need a guy to fill this position, this is a guy you need to get. Like, every year I've played overseas, if a spot ever opens up that's Will's position, I always like, you need to get this guy. So I'm happy that the team, looked over film, obviously, and liked his game, and it fit well with what we want to do, and running and with playing with smart guys and all those kind of things. So I'm ecstatic about him coming over. To have a little piece of home over there with us is always going to be great. And his wife, Nicole, and my wife met this summer, and, we're really excited to, have another couple off the court for those kind of things, because it's not just about basketball over there for us with families and stuff. So it's been really special to get that relationship started, and as far as everyone meeting and going over there and having a good time. So I think he's going to make an impact on the court for us as a team, but also off the court for us as a family. It'll be really fun.
And it's like your all's games, they seem to complement each other. You're both great shooters, but different types of shooters.
Right, exactly. So, Will, he's going to use his athleticism to get off, mid-range jumpers, coming off curls. But he reads the game really well, and I'd like to think of myself as someone who has to be somewhat cerebral to play the game with my height, my stats, all those kind of things. And I think, like you said, we play well off of each other. We connected a lot on, just little eye contact type of things, whether it was a backdoor play, backdoor alley-oop, just little nuances of the game that I think playing together obviously is going to help us going forward. And we're really excited about getting some backdoor dunks and those kind of things going again. So we've talked about that and worked on it. We worked out together, all that good stuff, and talked about the little things. I'm trying to get him acclimated with type of shots he'll be getting in games and those kind of things. So it was cool to be able to drill that in the summertime, because that doesn't happen too often where you get to go and work out with a teammate that you have overseas, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
And you had a tremendous season last year. How are you going to top? You had a bunch of accolades, NBA. I mean, that was pretty damn successful season you had. How are you going to top that? Expectations on Jordan Hall's got to go up.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I've gotten better every single year. I've been doing all the same things my whole career. It's just now people are noticing it, I guess. As long as I've always shot efficiently, I've shot great percentages. I've done whatever I need to do to help the team and whatever my role on the team is. So I think this year, going back to the same team, knowing how things are run and all those, I'll play with, the same amount of confidence and be very comfortable with what my role is and how I play the game, and I'll play freely. And I was talking to somebody the other day about how my perspective since having kids has really changed, and it's really helped my game from the standpoint of confidence and playing freely, and I'm not just going in the gym for 3 hours and shooting shots. If my shot feels good, I'm good. I get to go home and see my family. And I think that's been a huge thing for me to step back and realize, like, off the court things play a huge role for me as far as how I perform on the court as well. Staying healthy obviously is huge, and hopefully we make a good run in the playoffs, or to get to the playoffs in our league. And that's our goal as a team, is to be a playoff contender and make some noise in there, and that helps everybody. When you win at that level, it helps everybody for the future.
Now, you're in what city are you in Germany?
I'm in Würzburg, Germany, which is southern part, about 2 hours north-ish of Munich, 1 hour south of Frankfurt. It's the home of Dirk Nowitzki, so that's kind of their claim to fame. Yeah, it's a great city, not too big, not too small. My oldest son Jackson goes to school there, their little kindergarten, and then my son Leo was born there, obviously. So it's pretty special for us to. It'll have a special place. It has a special place in our hearts in that little city, because it's pretty cool for us.
What's some of your favorite things about Germany? Favorite things to do? Favorite foods? I've never been a fan of German food itself, but the other stuff's okay.
German food, yeah, it's funny. Like, when I come back, I realize, like, how much German influence is in Indiana and in the Midwest, especially Cincinnati. But there's lots of things over there that we like. Your German pretzels, your sauerkraut, your brats, potato salad. All that German food is great. But we really like how they take great care of your family. You're going to be getting your money on time. So for me as a player, that's huge. I've been in situations where it's not always been the case, and there's tons of horror stories out there when you talk to guys who played overseas from not getting their money and those kind of things. So with Germany, you never have to worry about that. Healthcare for the kids is great. You feel safe. You never are worried about your family going out on their own or anything like that, as opposed to some maybe other countries that you go to. But it's really cool for us to dive into that culture. Now, I just finished my third season in Germany, and this will be my fourth. And we feel comfortable with the language, and we're trying to learn more and more as parents, so we can help Jackson, because Jackson's learning it and he understands it. He's not speaking it yet, but those are things that we are trying to learn, and it's helping us grow, with things off the court as well. So it's pretty special for us.
I don't think Michael Lewis played overseas. I know he played some places here, but, man, he would have been a perfect person to play in Germany. He's from Jasper, Indiana. If you've ever been there,
exactly.
That's like being in Germany, man.
Yeah, no question. I told Cody Zeller the same thing. It's like, you go down to my wife's from Evansville, so as you're driving towards there, you see, like, Hofstadt, like, that's a German, like, the guy who, was one of the first guys. I mean, that's a German name. That's German, as German as it gets. So it's pretty cool to come back and see those little things. Kindergarten, that's a German word,
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, most people don't even understand, like, kindergarten. that's kids, whatever. But it's pretty interesting.
Now, where did your wife go to high school in Evansville? We're on at WREF in Evansville.
She went to Evansville Harrison, so home of Calbert Cheney.
I was going to say, home of the big man, Calvert.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, she saw me play in high school because we went down there, and I'm pretty sure we beat them by 30. She's in the car with me right now. But I let her know that quite frequently.
That's hilarious. Now, do you drive a car over in Germany?
Yep. So the team, that's also a great thing. Well, most places I've been is they take good care of they set you up in an apartment, they give you a car to drive, your insurance is covered, everything's covered. Our only expenses really are, for food and gas and anything else that we may need. But all those kind of things are great. You get to drive on the Autobahn, so no speed limit, but they're very strict on, like, everybody over there is a much better driver than the people here in the States. The cars have to meet certain requirements. Like, you can't drive some junky old car that might break down on the highway, because if you do that on the Autobahn, there's less crashes but more fatalities over there because of the speed, but it's really cool to drive on that. That's my wife maybe not so much doesn't care for it too much, but the one thing when I come back and realize, one is the stoplights are on the same side over there in Europe. So when I get home, I find myself like inching towards the intersection because I'm coming up to the light. But the other, that is a huge problem. But yeah, there's no ride on red, those kind of things that I always get honked at here when I come back to, is because I'm never turning right on red. But it's very well done over there. A lot better drivers for sure.
They'll have to get some roundabouts like they're putting everywhere in Indiana right now.
Oh yeah, they love the roundabouts too. And when I come back, I can't stand when people are in the left lane and they're going like the left lane, like you're supposed to be in the left lane if you're going fast. If not, then get in the right. So in Germany, if you're in the left lane, that's where the guys are going 150 miles an hour. You better get on over. You're getting like flashed. And so that's a huge pet peeve of mine when I come back home, because it's just so people are passing on the right, and then that's how wrecks happen, and it just really irks me. But I digress.
Big news coming out next, of course, for Indiana basketball, Jordan, is the commitment of Anthony Leal, of course, a Bloomington South product like yourself. What's it like to see another Bloomington South kid go to Indiana?
It's really cool to see. There's only been me from South, so he'll be the second from South, and then you got Jared Jeffries from North. So, I mean, that's not very many people who have gone in and had good careers at IU. So it's pretty special to see another kid from his hometown wanting to come and represent Indiana University on and off the court. Not only the university, but also representing your hometown. That's something that was really special. I know for me, when I committed, and a lot of people ask me if there's a lot of extra pressure added to it, being here, all your friends, family, whatever. I thought of it as like a huge opportunity for me to, one, play in front of my friends and family at every home game, which is something that a lot of kids don't get to do. And I embraced that. I wouldn't call it. It was a good kind of pressure. It made me very proud to be able to represent my hometown, and made me want to be a better player. And I always had that passion and drive to just, what can I get better at? What's next for me? What can I do this year to improve from the year before? And all those kind of things. So I know for me, it was really cool from that standpoint. Also, it's always nice to be able to come home and get a home cooked meal, or, have your laundry done in a timely fashion or whatever. So that was really cool. But people also thought that, if you commit to your hometown school, you really feel like you're getting the full experience, and you're going to, be away from home enough, or however you want to call it. But I always felt like when I was at IU, I was at IU. I never felt like I didn't get away from home enough, or I wasn't able to grow up on my own or go through all the things that I need to learn on my own. when I was here. So that was a huge thing that I know for my sister was one of the things that she always thought about if she did. Well, she eventually came back to IU, but she committed to Bowling Green, and that was one of the things that she thought maybe she wouldn't get a home away from home experience kind of thing. But for me, it was awesome, and it's also cool to have a place that your teammates who aren't from here, which is most people, obviously, they get to have a home away from home when they want a home cooked meal, or when they just need a place to maybe go spend Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't know how the rules are now, but for me and for us, we didn't have a lot of time for those guys to go home and be with their families. So my family kind of jumped in and tried to be that for them. So that was also something off the court that a lot of people may not think about, and I don't know if Anthony's ever even thought about that, but that's something that goes a long way, makes an impact on others, and you build those lifelong friendships, and then your family's involved. And, it's really cool when you have a tight-knit group like that I had, and hopefully he has a similar experience. And, obviously at that level, it's a lot of different things that you have to work on, and you got to get better in every aspect. He's athletic. He can do a little bit of everything, but at the next level, you got to tweak. You got to get better here. You got to handle the ball a little bit tighter. You got to use your athleticism to your advantage in certain areas, and that just comes with getting older and learning more about the game and those kind of things. So, but I am really excited to see him, and obviously one of his AAU teammates, a kid that he's close with, who will also make an impact. That's pretty special to have that, which I was fortunate. I had Bobby Capabianco. We were AAU teammates as well. And I knew a lot of the other kids because there's a lot of Indiana kids on the team at that time. So I think it'll be cool for him too.
And you talk about the experience at college. I'm Todd Leary old, and I know Pat Graham. We went to St. Floyd Central High School, but back in their day, they were staying in these apartments that were they were okay, I guess. But now they got these guys in these high rises across from the stadium. It's like state of the art.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like the rules, even since I've been there, have changed, and it's pretty different college experience than most get to experience. But when you're a college athlete, like you're not the typical student. Like you don't like those regular students. They have all the time in the world. When you're an athlete, like that's not how it is. Like you're gonna have fun. You're gonna be able to go to class and do whatever else. But you're also on a basketball team, and with social media and the way it is, like you have to make sure that you're doing all the right things, and you never know who's watching, and all those kind of things. So you're not living the typical college student life, which gets a lot of guys in trouble no matter where you're at. But it's something that guys just have to be aware of, especially at that next level. But also, social media compared to when I was in college is completely different too. So all those kind of things play a factor.
I know because of your limited schedule, being overseas most of the year, more than half the year, you don't get to see him play much. What do you know about his game? What do you think he can bring to this Indiana team that's kind of been devoid of shooting over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I have not seen him play a whole lot, maybe a couple of times, not this past summer, but the summer before. I watched him and his Indiana Elite team play out in L.A., obviously he's athletic. He can do a little bit of everything, shoot, get to the rim, uses, his natural ability to do those kind of things. But again, I have not seen him play live or, it's all what I've just heard. So I'm excited to finally get to see him, and, the people I've talked to, he's a great kid. He does this, he does that. But like I said earlier, at the next level, there's going to be kids who do a lot of the same things. So you got to try and find your niche and where you can excel and where you can, be the best at that. So for him, he is athletic, and he's going to have to get tighter handle and better shooting, like I was talking about. But I'm excited to see how he progresses. When I saw him, it was very small sample size, but that was also almost a year ago. And a lot changes in a year. I haven't been able to see him shoot in a whole year or anything like that. So it's hard for me to say and critique his game when I haven't seen him play that much. So I just know once he gets to the next level, what you have to continue to get better at. And obviously shooting is something that we need, and hopefully that's something that he can bring for us, and a different kind of grit and style of play that fits in really well.
Yeah, the pictures and the social media postings of you and Will Sheehy shooting, working out at Cook Hall had a lot of people salivating over the summer, dreaming that Indiana had that kind of shooting again.
Yeah, we had a special group. You know, I think one of our years we were one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. I think.
Yes, you were,
especially with Watford and trail threes, and you have Matt Roth out there. Then I guess I hit a couple, and then
you hit a couple, all right.
And then we had everybody on the team could shoot, we had everybody who could shoot, pretty much. Even Elston, you know, he's 6'9", but could shoot threes. He could step out, and Christian 6'8", 6'9", could shoot threes. The guards could shoot. Yeah, so we were pretty fortunate in that aspect, and get up and down and shoot the three ball, and just the game. That's just how the game's changing, though, right? It's crazy how much, even when I like three ball, no mid range, get to the rim or three. Like I make a living off of shooting mid range shots too. I hit threes, of course, but people are eventually going to fly out at you. But I think the mid range is a lost art, and hopefully guys understand that, and you know, don't get deterred from the statistical, you know, numbers that say don't shoot the mid range shot, but. I digress. I get on rants, but so I'm excited to see how this team shoots this year, and hopefully Anthony can bring a different clip, I guess is the word for that, different clip for us.
Now, we see a lot of guys come back and work out at Cook Hall, and they're in town, in and out. But being that you live here, did you work out there the whole time you've been home?
Yeah, so I got injured at the end of my season. I tore my bottom left, my left bottom ribs out of the cartilage. So I didn't do anything for 10 weeks. So that was kind of eating at me, because I was planning on just going and doing stuff with the guys, and, you know, whether it was conditioning or basketball workouts or whatever. But when I did work out, it was either at my high school or at Cook, whenever I could get in. But I try and get in there as much as possible, and especially these last 2 or 3 weeks when I'm getting, for sure, gotten more cardio in and more shots up and those kind of things. So that's been huge for me to be able, and I'm thankful for the staff for letting me use the facilities whenever I need to. And obviously Elston is one of my best friends, and Johnny Jager's there now, who I've known for a while too. And they've helped me out getting me through workouts, or, you know, helping me rebound, or whatever the case is. So it's been cool.
Well, Jordan, I cannot thank you enough, man. We love having you on. You're one of the absolute favorites, and you're always so gracious with your time, and I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it, because I know the fans love hearing from you, and they love hearing about what's going on with you.
No, I appreciate you having me on, and anytime you need me, anytime you need anything, let me know, and happy to help out. And Hoosier Nation's been good to me, so and I love every part of it. So anything I can do to help, and I love talking about it, because I don't get to do it too often. I appreciate you having me.
Well, brother, we'll make sure that we keep the fans apprised on things that are going on over in Germany, and we'll follow you there and wish you the best of luck. Best of luck to your family. Have a safe trip over there, and have fun on the Autobahn, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Jordan Hull's joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. We'll be back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area, or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Graham. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you as always, coming to you, of course, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios in Bloomington. Complete IU coverage. Heading out to football practice when we get off here. Then IU Volleyball Media Day is today. Tomorrow we're coming to you live from Bill Armstrong Stadium. It's IU Men's Soccer Media Day. Women's Soccer has a match at noon. There's so much going on, man. It's so hard to keep straight. We've been talking to, obviously, a lot of the football coaches and the players as fall camp continues. Just about to hit the halfway mark here this week, as a matter of fact, for Indiana football program. And it's good to see how things progress as we're allowed to go out to about half the practices, which is always enjoyable. On the defensive side of things, the Indiana's defensive line is probably one of the most critical units on the entire team, because that's where basically most of the questions are, to be honest with you. There's not a lot of experience on that line. There's a lot of youth, I can tell you that. There's a couple of guys that have come in from JUCO, which there are very few JUCO guys on this team, but there are a couple on the defensive line, which could not be come at a more timely time for the Hoosiers. But it's going to be interesting to see how they progress, how they perform, because, you know, it starts and ends with the defensive line. They've got to be able to stop the run or slow it down. They've got a great secondary. Indiana's pretty good at linebacker, but how's the line going to do? How are they going to be able to hold up in the Big Ten? That's going to be a big question. But we got a chance to talk to Kane Womack as well, and let's hear what he had to say. He talks about that line. He talks about Michael McFadden, some other things. But this is Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator for Indiana's football team.
Got a number of guys that, I mean, we really are. We're a D-line by committee. You know, we believe in that. That's our, regardless of our personnel, we're gonna rotate guys and keep them fresh. And I think what's nice is these young guys are put us in position to where you don't feel hamstringed. I mean, either physically or schematically in doing that.
Last year you played Cam Jones at the Husky, and then in the spring kind of moved him around. How's he looking at Stinger and linebacker so far this camp?
Very fast, you know what I mean, very aggressive. He's just naturally a violent player, you know what I mean? So regardless of where you put him, he has a knack to find the ball. And when he shows up, he's got an attitude, you know what I mean? So that Cam Jones is a football player, period, right? My job as the coordinator, right, and our job as the defensive staff is to take a dynamic football player and create different ways to get him close to the ball. So he will play stinger. He's going to do some other things as well. And then even in that, we're going to find creative ways to get him in one-on-one matchups. He's special.
Concurrent to that, Mike is a guy who played a lot last season. We've seen him kind of running with that first-team defense some here in the fall. Just how much have you seen him grow from maybe last year as a freshman?
Mike McFadden is a really good football player as well. In fact, there were plays that he made out on the field last year. I'm not sure he knew what the defensive call was, but he made the play. So heck of a job there by him. Now he knows what to do. He knows where to put his eyes. And when you take an athlete like that that's instinctive, and now he's starting to figure out what to do, his production is going through the roof, as I'm.
There's Coach Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator, talking about Michael McFadden. He also talked a lot about Cam Jones, a violent player. Love that term. The big questions on the defensive line. Want to see how those guys do, man. Yeah, you got some new guys in there, but that they're going to be critical to what this team can do because they have to stop people. And the defense took a little drop off last year. Coach Allen stepped back, relinquished the DC role to Kane Womack, and to focus more on being the head coach. So we'll see if Indiana can kind of get back, as Tom Allen had Indiana just rolling defensively. But they had still a lot of great things last year. They were one of the top teams in takeaways last year, and they work on that a lot. They have drills where they work on that. We see that during spring practice or fall practice right now. As we see those guys. Yesterday's practice was moved indoors, and it was shortened a bit. Well, it was it was kind of shortened. It started late, but they ended up going late for some reason because basically over this quarterback situation. They're trying to get as many views on this as they can. And if you follow me on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB, you'll see that I have been grading them on the days that we've been able to see them on the old boxing 10-point must scale. Talk about it a few times, and right now we're tied. Peyton Ramsey and Michael Penix, and Jack Tuttle's just not too far behind. But and Jack Tuttle's the difference. It's just simply because he hasn't been here. He doesn't know the offense yet. He's still learning the offense. He's only been here, a few months. Transfer from Utah. Michael Penix was here for the entire year last year. Even though he got hurt, he's still been here, know the offense, studied the offense. And, of course, Peyton Ramsey, a second-year guy. He's been here for a couple years, so he has the edge in experience there. But really not a lot of an edge, I don't think, over Michael Penix in that regard. And you can see Michael Penix is getting more and more comfortable. And the difference between the two, Peyton Ramsey's a solid quarterback. He threw for a lot of yards last year. I think over 2,600 yards he threw for. But the knock was he couldn't get Indiana downfield, which is true. And not only that, Indiana's offense really stagnant in the red zone. I'm not going to lay that all on Peyton Ramsey. A lot of that goes to Mike DeBoer and some of that to the players. So there's enough blame to go around on that. But those are things that they have to take care of. They have to get downfield. They have to be productive in the red zone. They need touchdowns, not field goals. And so that's got to change this year. And what changes that? So, is it a different quarterback? Well, we'll find out. Or is Peyton Ramsey learned more, gotten better arm strength? Well, it's yet to see. But I can tell you this. When you watch Michael Penix throw that ball deep, first of all, it looks like he just flicks his wrist. It just looks like it's nothing. But he threw a pass yesterday, even though we were inside. It was I say it was about 50 yards in the air. And that thing was just as tight spiral as it could be. Just beautiful. It was like the space landing module coming back from the moon, man. It was just cutting through the atmosphere. But he has got a cannon of an arm. Now, just because you can throw it far doesn't mean a lot. It was like if you're not accurate, but he is accurate. But he doesn't have quite the experience Peyton Ramsey does. There's some intangibles that I know those coaches are looking at. Talk about, the team supporting you. I don't think that's an issue for any of the guys, to be honest with you. They don't care. They just want to win. They just want to, through receivers, they just want to be able to get the ball to them, especially if you're a downfield receiver. Indiana needs that. They did not have that aspect of the game last year. It's well documented. We talked about it at length, and it's nothing that you need me to tell you. If you saw the program last year, you saw that was one of their limitations, and it cost them, as a matter of fact. There were 3 games where they lost by less than a touchdown, and the inability to stretch that defense, it goes a long way in that. When you allow defenses to basically pack the box, which means focus on the run or short passes. It's nice that you can hit all those passes as far as accuracy, but when you're not getting into the end zone, it doesn't really matter. And can you imagine how good Stevie Scott can be if he had some relief, some passing relief, if the defense has to respect this offense by lengthening out? Man, the dude rushed for over 1,100 yards last year. What can he do if he's got a passing game behind him? Who knows? But looking forward to finding out. But man, we got a ton coming up on the program today. Chronic Hoosiers back. Man, it's a big day. Chronic Hoosiers with us. We're going to hear from Coach Tom Allen, Nick Sheridan as well from the IU football program. Stay tuned. This is Indiana Sports Beat. We're coming to you from the golf club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back with more right after this.
I like the way you work it, no diggity. I thought to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here in Bloomington. Jim Coyle with you. As always, Jake's at the wheel, keeping things on the track. Appreciate you joining us, as always, wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. On the program today, one of our favorites is back. Yes, he's back. Chronic Hoosier is back in the lineup. He'll be with us each and every week, but looking forward to talking to him today. We got a lot to get to. Also, we'll hear from Coach Tom Allen, Nick Sheridan shortly as well, a tight ends coach. Kind of a light moment. Fun hearing from him yesterday as well, but I saw that Romeo and the other Boston Celtics rookies were showing off their jerseys yesterday. That was on social media. Auburn and Bruce Pearl, they may be in a little more trouble again. Bruce Pearl's, he's always getting in trouble, man. That just seems to be his deal. They had an opportunity to kind of do some right things to try to get out in front of the FBI investigation sanctions that's kind of coming their way, but it looks like they screwed up. And they'd said that they had policed themselves and instituted some no recruiting policies for like a period of a year, but now there's a lot of stuff coming out where they were actually recruiting during that time. Shocker. How about that? He actually had an entire AAU team out there is one of the things, but all kinds of baloney going on with that Auburn program. Doesn't look good for Bruce Pearl. He's already been fired for lying to the NCAA at Tennessee. So not a good look for the Auburn program right now. And Auburn is no stranger to NCAA trouble through the years as well. And then you got to deal with Muppet Mark Emmert and the NCAA. They're making an adjustment to the new agent deal that they sent out last week, that agents would have to have a college degree, and just a firestorm went up. And after a week of that, without saying, hey, we made a mistake or we're going to do this, they just quietly changed the rule and don't acknowledge that they made another screw up. Well, they ought to get rid of this daggone rights commissions, what they ought to do next. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So anyway, that's what's going on there. But IU Swimming make a huge statement at the Pan Am Games. They won 11 medals, 4 gold, 2 silver, 5 bronze. Annie Laser with 3 gold medals herself. So congratulations to her, man. That was great to see that. That means the IU Swimming program is back. We saw them finish very highly last year in the NCAA. So we're going to see a lot of Hoosiers at the Tokyo Olympics. Lily King, of course, leading that parade. But on the program today, Chronic Hoosiers with us. We're going to hear from Coach Tom Allen, and let's hear from Nick Sheridan. He talks about a lot of things. He's a tight ends coach now. He's formerly the quarterbacks coach. But we had the opportunity to talk with him, so let's hear what Coach Nick's got to say.
I saw you on video rapping the boot up. I guess something you know is one of your favorite songs.
Just familiar with the lyrics. And just it's a good laugh. It's always, don't take yourself too seriously. So I think the players enjoyed it, and I can't sing a lick, but it's really not what karaoke is all about. So hopefully the guys got a good kick out of it. And like I said, it's always good to put yourself out there. It's a good lesson for players. Don't take yourself too seriously.
So we're not giving up our day job?
No, I haven't got any phone calls yet, so I don't anticipate that happening.
As a guy who's been through this from the player's side, just how important in the slog of fall camp is it to maybe have those moments where it just everything's a little bit looser, a little bit, you can just blow off a little steam? Yeah, it's great. We ask a lot of our players, and it's always good to laugh. Coaches and players included. And it's good to be vulnerable in front of other, guys on your team and be made fun of. I mean, that's what family's all about. So I know me, my brothers and I, my dad and mom, and my wife, we crack jokes all the time and laugh and enjoy each other's company. So I always think that's good to be able to do that, especially right now you're in the thick of camp where it's hard. That's what football's all about. So it's good to have a little bit of a lighter moment or two.
What's been Peyton been showing you so far in camp?
Just a maturity. His body's developed. He's bigger, stronger. He's just more mature. He's understanding the day-to-day grind of being a Big Ten football player, and so I've been pleased with that.
He's been talking about, hoping to get, more targets, more opportunities to catch the ball downfield. Something that kind of you have to earn, or how do you think he's adapting that?
Quarterbacks, they don't have any biases. They throw to the guys that get open regularly, and there's plenty of opportunities for all 5 eligible receivers on every down to get the ball. So you got to do your job to know your assignment, run the right route, and create separation so the quarterbacks feel comfortable to throw it to you. So those opportunities are there for everybody, and ultimately when you get those chances, you got to take advantage of them.
As you kind of broke down in the offseason what he did last year as a redshirt freshman, what did you feel like kind of you could mark down as his strengths, and maybe what were the areas you were kind of underlining in terms of saying this is where he can get better, this is where we can really push him forward?
I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of training camp. There are no physical limitations for Peyton. He's big and strong. He can run. He can catch. I think a strength of his would just be toughness and competitiveness. He didn't shy away from anything his first go around in the Big Ten. And then, things to develop and get better at was more preparation, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your mind, so that you can be at your best, on Saturdays every fall. So I think that maturity has started to set in. He understands the importance of having his body feel fresh, his mind feel fresh, and he's taking the next step to try to prepare in a more mature and a better way.
Do you think he's also kind of getting, I know he's only a redshirt sophomore, but a mentality where he sets the tone for that group? And I know he's obviously that's not something you want only one guy to do, but do you think he's maybe embraced trying to be the guy that leads everybody else?
I think he's improved at that. I don't know if in his mind he ever saw himself as someone that has a lot of influence, even though he does. The guy in our room that has, since I've been in the room, that's really tried to set the tone from an effort and toughness standpoint has been Matt Bjorson. And I think Peyton realizes the impact that he can have and that he has elevated his leadership and his influence on the group and on the team. So I think he's starting to understand that, leadership's best coupled by performance. And if you're a good player, you have an opportunity to lead. And I think he's taking advantage of some of those opportunities.
We're talking to Kalen DeBoer. He's obviously looking to use the tight ends a lot more in this offense. What can your group do to add, and what can they improve the offense?
Well, I think just versatility. The tight end position across the country is a versatile position. You can, run at routes from detached sets. You can be in the core and block. It just adds a lot of versatility to your offense. And, we're practice 9 or 10, or is that what we're on? 11, whatever day we're on. So we're right in the middle of it. Roles have not been defined yet. Guys are working every day. Coach DeBoer and the staff are still learning what each guy does and really how we can get the best 11 on the field at one time, depending on the team we're playing, to give ourselves the best shot to win. So that's a great thing about Coach DeBoer. He's been a coordinator for many, many years, has had lots of different types of players, and so he has knowledge at all different personnel groupings, formations, schemes, you name it. And it's been great, and it's been a challenge for the players to learn that and see how they're going to fit when we get into the fall.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Yep, you got it.
That's Nick Sheridan, tight ends coach for the Indiana football program. Hey, we got a lot coming up on the program today. Chronic Hoosier, he's back, and he's next here on Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, Located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway, Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
All my friends know the low rider. The low rider is a little higher.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. And on the program today, man, you know him, you love him. We cannot do without him. We have for the summer break, but he's back. Chronic Hoosier. Chronic, how are you, man?
I'm just, knocking the dust off, shaking out the cobwebs. It's good to be back. It's good to be back talking about sports again, as opposed to workouts and conditioning and all that off-season fun.
You know him as a co-host of Mind Your Banners, as well as he joins us each and every week during the season. Fortunate to have you back. It's football season, man. I cannot believe we're 2 weeks away from September, Chronic. I mean, the summer has just flown by, man.
It has. Tell me about it. I've reached the point of parenthood, though, where I'm kind of glad there's a little piece of me inside, and I love summer as much as anybody. It's probably the only season that keeps me still in Bloomington all these years later, because there's nothing better than a B-Town summer. But I've reached the point where it is kind of nice, too, to get the kids taken care of, at least Monday through Friday. We're on a set schedule again. We're not we had to create spreadsheets and reminders so that we know which camp at what time and who was picking up where, and happy to get back into a groove. Happy to get back into the rhythm of fall sports back in Bloomington. Students' early move-ins next Monday, so it's staring us right down in the eye at this point.
What's the funnest thing you got to do this summer, you and the kids?
We've had a pretty action-packed summer. I would have to say we've done some big trips. We've taken a couple of vacations. Honestly, it's been those little unplanned moments because that's probably been the one thing that we've just had so little of. It's just kind of impromptu time. And I always felt like that was the greatest part of summer, was being able to, have the best time ever, but completely unscripted. So, I don't know. We picked up some kayaks, some additional boats we added to our fleet. And we've got to do quite a bit of time on the water this summer with everybody, navigating their own craft and kind of going their own direction. And that's been really fun. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about this area that's kept my wife and I here for so many years now, is all the outdoor opportunities available. So to get them on that level, it's nice to have some additional young captains in the house.
Absolutely. Sounds like a blast as well. Well, we got the football season is almost upon us. The Hoosiers kick off August 31st against Ball State up at Lucas Oil Stadium. Should be fun in and of itself, but football season's here. That's the big thing, and I can't wait. On top of the fact, I'm bullish on his team, man. I'm loving what Tom Allen and that staff is doing. They got a lot of talent, and I think they have a shot to really turn the corner this season. Of course, a lot of people will say, oh, they always say that. I think it's the truth, man. He has done a phenomenal job adding talent and depth to this team, and he's doing it from the bottom up. He's not doing a rush job. He's not bringing in a bunch of JUCO guys. He's really working it from the bottom up.
No, he has done much of what Archie Miller said he was going to do when he first took over. He's really worked, the inside-out philosophy effectively on the recruiting standpoint. At the same time, he's proven to be highly effective in other regions, particularly obviously Florida, where he came to Indiana from. But I think you're spot on. I think when you look at forever what's plagued Indiana, there's always the question of talent, depth of talent, compared to some of the powerhouse programs particularly in the Big Ten East. And to be able to stack, the highest ranked classes in program history from a recruiting standpoint in back-to-back years, I tend to agree. It is exciting. I do feel bullish myself on the Hoosiers. It's going to be a young team, but they're going to have a lot of young experience. I think you're going to start to see that depth of experience. We talked a little bit about this before we went live, but to be able to have second string guys where you don't have that big of a drop off as you go down the depth chart. You look at the defensive secondary. I think it's going to be one of the best we've seen in a long, long time. Skill position on offense is pretty stacked all the way across the line. Probably the most important position on the offensive side. You've got a depth of some pretty talented quarterbacks at their disposal right now. So those guys are kind of locked into a pretty epic battle by most accounts as far as who's going to emerge as QB1 at the end of camp. And guys that are proven to be capable in a number of different ways. So I think all that bodes really well for Indiana, both this season as well as going forward. I do have some questions about defensive line. I think is going to be really important. I mean, let's face it, the game of football is won and lost in the trenches, but it's probably at a higher level even when you look at the talent that they have to compete against in the Big Ten East and just some of the pro players they line up against every single Saturday, going across the board at the Michigan, the Penn State, the Ohio States, Michigan States for that matter. So really being able to continue to grow and develop not just the size and the strength, but the depth, so that a strain here or an injury there doesn't just derail what the offense is doing and really limit the playbook as far as what they're going to be able to run. I'm real curious to see just how both sides shape up at the line. I'm real curious to see who ends up being the starting quarterback and exactly how secure that position is. But more than anything, man, I'm just ready to play some dang football again. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail on the head with the D line. To me, that's going to be either the Achilles heel of this team, or it's going to be the one that surprises us. But they're pretty talented at secondary, and on the offensive side, my gosh, the talent is crazy. Well, you started at quarterback. That's truly a quarterback race. I mean, if people don't believe that, they're not being honest. I promise you. I've been out there to every practice that we're able to go to, and I promise you, those coaches don't know who that guy's going to be just yet. I will say this. I think there's been some separation between Michael Penix and Peyton Ramsey, between him and Tuttle, and that's only because Tuttle is the newest in the fold. He's still learning this offense. He's still learning things. He's only been here a few months. So that is the only difference between him and the rest. But the other two, man, they're in a daggone duel of a battle, back and forth. I've been doing a 10-point must system grading every day, and they've been tied here of late. As a matter of fact, after the latest grading, they are tied. So it's going to be a battle. But in talking to Coach Allen yesterday, he talked about them wanting to get that done as soon as they can, but there's still not been that separation. But hopefully they will be soon. And then you look at the running backs room, Chronic. What crazy talent is in that room, man? Stevie Scott and Ronnie Walker and Cole Guest back, who looks faster than he did before his knee injury. So, man, they have a ton of talent on that offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's certainly, depending on how what kind of tweaks we see in the play calling, really looking forward to an increase in explosiveness on the offensive side of the ball, going for some bigger passes, going for some bigger runs, really opening the field up. Not necessarily being risky necessarily, but maybe being a little more aggressive, a little more assertive in moving the football. But it seems, at least on paper, it seems at least from what we've seen in some of the summer highlights, they're going to have plenty enough talent where they should at least be able to, from an athletic standpoint, elevate the explosive potential of this offense. And hopefully, at the end of the day, they've just got to find a way to get it into the end zone, because, even under the prior coordinator, DeBoer, this team could move the ball fairly efficiently. It was just a matter of getting the thing into the house. So, need to see an increase in both the aggressiveness, maybe some of the big plays that don't necessarily start inside the red zone that can find their way to the end zone. But more than anything, too, when they do get into the red zone, they got to start to convert on it. So many of those games, when you look at the difference between a 5-7 Indiana season and a 7-5, you don't really need to look a whole lot further than a couple of turnovers here and there. And then, at least in Indiana's case, it's usually red zone efficiency seems to be the biggest thing that's going to keep them from, finding success in some of those situations.
Absolutely. There was that red zone, you could say that cost them getting to a bowl game last year. Their inability to score touchdowns as opportunity would arise instead of getting field goals. But hopefully they have got that taken care of. But another big change coming up at Memorial Stadium this fall is, Chronic, you can drink a beer and gamble on a game while watching IU play football. How crazy is that going to be?
Served to you by the fine brewers at Upland Brewery.
Exactly.
It's pretty much a dream scenario, I think, for most people who've been spending years there. If you've ever smuggled any cans in there, heaven forbid you brought a flask in there. And Lord knows plenty enough people have gone out at halftime to go have a libation and never returned. So absolutely, it's a huge step forward for Indiana athletics. I have a feeling, at least I hope, I sincerely hope that everybody's able to manage that newfound freedom responsibly. But honestly, I don't know that it's really a whole lot going to be too terribly different, other than you're going to leave with your wallet considerably lighter. I'm excited to see, or anxious rather, to see what pricing looks like. But at the end of the day, man, I just got back from Alpine Valley a couple of weeks ago. I will absolutely pay $17 for a 24-ounce spotted cow. You can charge me $12 for an Upland at Memorial, and I'm not even going to bat an eye. So I'm ready for it. It's a new day for Indiana football.
I think the price is going to be like $8-9. So save a few bucks there, Chronic.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, if it's good beer, because I will absolutely pay, a premium for good beer as opposed to, a Bud Light or what have you. So be it. If it keeps me from having to go out to my car to enjoy, something a little hoppy, I am absolutely here for it. Just the fact that fans are going to have that option now, to eliminate the excuse as to why you had to leave the game. You look at all the changes I'd love to see in Indiana football. I just once this season, give me an underdog scenario at home that's up in the air as far as how the game's going to wrap up in the fourth quarter, and let me hear a mostly full Memorial Stadium cheering that team to victory, because it's been a while since we found ourselves in that spot. Really hoping they can capitalize, especially early on in seizing and maintaining the fan support, that excitement that every season brings with it. That's one thing I like about this schedule, honestly, quite a bit, is it gives Indiana a chance in some of those games that were probably going to be predicted to be, pretty sizable underdogs. You don't have so many of them stacking up in a row where you go through in October that can completely suck the wind out of everybody's sails as far as the momentum. The schedule gives a lot of opportunities for bounce-back games in between. And I think that's going to be imperative. I think this schedule absolutely shapes up where bowl eligibility is very much in the cards, more likely than not, I would imagine. And even the possibility for, maybe a game or so beyond bowl eligibility. I don't think that's unreasonable as you look at some of the matchups, as how some of these teams are projecting as the season draws near us, and you're seeing some of these models get a little bit more accurate as you see depth charts emerging and rosters being finalized, ready for the game. So I like it. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, man, more than anything, I can't wait to see the guys take the field. I can't wait to feel the energy in the stadium again. I just can't wait to be back.
Yeah, I've got them. I've gone on and said I see them at 7-5 on this season, and that's before they get to a bowl game. And I think that they could possibly win their first bowl game since the Copper Bowl in '91. I just think this team has that capability to do that. And with the new offensive coordinator, Kalen DeBoer, who has done nothing but add points to every program he went to in the first year he went there. I mean, he adds like 10 to 15 points a game to every program he went to in his first season. So you can't hope or guarantee that that's going to happen. But I just think that with the talent being a little bit better this year, and then him coming along with the play calling and his tweaks that he's making to the offense, I think it is a definite possibility this team easily goes 7-5 and hits their first bowl win since '91. I'm bullish, man. I'm bullish, Chronic.
I am, and I'll say one thing too. I'm looking forward to seeing the defense bounce back a little bit, because Tom Allen's career has had a pretty sharp and ascending curve to it as far as his defenses and their efficiencies. The more time he spends with the program. So after having a little bit of a setback last season, looking forward to seeing those guys reloading and really getting after the ball again, creating turnovers, and getting some punts out on the field, get the offense back out there. So I agree. I tend to be bullish. At the end of the day, though, it's not an unfamiliar feeling to be wildly optimistic as an Indiana football fan, and in August, but really hoping that bears out. I like I said, I think the schedule shapes up. I think the rosters, it just a lot of promise right now until proven otherwise.
Yeah, Tom Brew likes to say that everybody's undefeated in August.
Every Indiana team's undefeated with everybody else.
On the basketball side, man, a lot of positive things been going on. Archie talked about recruiting inside and out, and, man, he's getting that job done here with the recent commitments of Anthony Leal of Bloomington South, and before that, Trey Galloway from Culver. Two very nice pieces to add, and as a matter of fact, two very glue pieces, I call them, because these guys are going to be around for 4 years, and they're solid kids. They're good students, they're good citizens, but they're pretty damn good basketball players too.
No, absolutely. And one thing that I've said this several times. You and I were saying it before. I see a lot of parallels right now between the football and the basketball program, as far as both coaches in year 3 here at Indiana. Both coaches well on their way, at least now, to having a roster that's primarily their guys for the first time since they've been here. I think last time we spoke, you and I were talking this spring about just how challenging it was, having fallen short of the postseason last year. That momentum that a new coach often enjoys, that he's able to carry on the recruiting trail when maybe the record doesn't necessarily reflect what he's trying to build, and how difficult that can be to overcome once you lose that. And not only does the program get 2 really strong in-state guards in Galloway and Leal, you get a continuance of that momentum, or at least the absence of a pretty significant setback as far as the recruiting successes go. And I think he continues to show that he's been very strategic in how he recruits, how he offers, and he's been very efficient in how he gets a return on the efforts they put in on the recruiting trail. You look at the guys he's gone after, he lands far more than he seems to lose. So that's certainly something that's promising. Certainly gives some confidence and assurance that whatever message he's given these guys when he's meeting them in the gym, doing the shoot arounds, doing the in-home visits, it resonates with them, because they continue to come, despite the lack of postseason presence. They come despite the lack of a lot of the fan rumblings that he'll never get another guy after Romeo Langford doesn't even make the tournament. Well, he just proceeded to lock up 2 more Indiana All-Stars. He's got 2 guys who are both going to be in contention for Indiana Mr. Basketball again, which would make it a 3rd year in a row, unprecedented for Indiana basketball, in spite of all the Mr. Basketballs they've landed, to have 3 consecutive matriculate to Bloomington. So I likewise feel really bullish. I'm still a little bit leery, having not heard Jerome Hunter being completely cleared for contact. I know the medical staff continues to evaluate. I know he's doing a lot of stuff, but he's just not quite at the full contact clearance yet. So I remain kind of anxious to see the outcome of that. I imagine it's probably not too terribly long or far away, seeing as practice begins in, 6 weeks now. And practice will officially be underway. Hoosier Hysteria shortly thereafter. So probably get an update there. I think the biggest thing right now, honestly, though, in addition to, the additions to the roster in Galloway and Leal, is the absence of any major losses, any major injuries, no program defections of note, aside from Clifton Moore. But additionally, another off season where, knock on wood, since it's not officially over yet, I guess the guys are home, but he returns a full and healthy roster. So that's always a good sign, considering, just how important everybody he has coming back are going to be to both what they're trying to build, but as well as where I think this team's potential could be. Because I remain pretty bullish on what the basketball team's going to look like next year as well.
My only question is in regards to the assistant coach that they're waiting to hire, and I know that there's no reason to be in a big rush, but that's not what concerns me so much. Is if you have your guy, why not just go ahead and hire him? So I'm not sure if they've got the guy they want yet or where that is, but it's getting to that point to where you're kind of starting to wonder, because it's been a minute, man. I don't know if it's been quite a month yet, but it's certainly heading in that direction.
No, and that was certainly something that raised my eyebrow when it happened. I thought the timing of it was less than ideal right before an open recruiting period began. I will give Archie credit, because both in the search as well as in the separation, they've kept about a tight lid on it as far as information coming out of Cook Hall as any administration or staff that I can remember. The only thing that I can estimate from what's going on, that given what I know about Archie and what we've seen demonstrably, I would imagine he's probably approaching that search just like he does any other recruiting, and he's probably pretty strategic as far as who he's looking to find, what he's looking for them to bring, and how he's going to go about making it happen. So I'll trust in that until proven otherwise. But kind of like the situation with Hunter, I would expect that probably should be resolving itself sooner than later, if I had to guess.
I agree with you, brother. And there's just a ton of great things coming up for the Indiana Hoosiers, I think. I think it's going to be a really good year. You've got the men's soccer program. They're coming out ranked number 2. You've got a new women's soccer coach, and a new wrestling coach who's your IU's All-American, and a new volleyball coach in Steve Aird, who is just setting things on fire. And look out, Indiana could become a volleyball power within a few years. It would not surprise me. I've been around him quite a bit over there at Wilkinson Hall, the new home there, and man, they got stuff going on.
I'll tell you what, you look at that building particularly, and what those two coaches and Escobedo and Aird are trying to do with their programs, and if you spend any amount of time with either of those guys, you have no reason to doubt that they are 100% going to achieve what they're trying to build here. They both bring so much passion, so much energy, just great tacticians, but more than anything, just phenomenal people. And I have a feeling that could be one of the more rocking facilities on campus here in really short order. Really excited to getting up there and getting a chance to see them in a full season in a brand new home, right there on the athletic complex on the southeast corner of the athletic block there. I just think it's a great addition to campus. Glad to get them both back on campus as opposed to being out at the bypass. And I really hope that students and fans alike get to take the opportunity to go enjoy the air conditioning, which we didn't have in University Gym, but also support two programs who I imagine are going to be pretty fun to watch for some time to come.
Yeah, and the volleyball program's got this crazy connection to basketball. You've got Jeff Oliphant's daughter on this team this year. You've got Brian Sloan's daughter on this team this year. Evan Fitzner's sister is on this team. There's a kid whose dad played with the Fab Five at Michigan. There's something else that is slipping my mind. And then Indiana's only All-American was Kent Benson's daughter. So the basketball connection to the volleyball program is kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of like basketball, though. It's a game of heights. You got to find some girls that can get up above the net. That's where the game's won and lost. So no surprise he's targeting some of those kids. It's not just they're tall, though. There's some phenomenal athletes. And I've got a chance to meet a couple of the girls out and about around town. And from everything I've seen so far, personally at least, Just some wonderful people, great personalities, real high character kids. Pretty much everything you expect from IU athletes. We spend so much time talking about, the basketball and the football programs and all the reputations those guys get for, kind of being big time around campus. What people forget is the other 22 varsity sports here. Most of those kids get to go about town, and other than the gear they're wearing, they kind of do so anonymously. I mean, even Lily King can occasionally pass through pretty crowded places. People don't recognize her because she's not, 6'11" or, just massively bulging biceps and necks. And one thing I will say, 99% of every interaction I've ever had with an IU athlete, no matter what sport they're coming from out and about around town, they're just great kids. They're great neighbors. They're exactly the type of people that you like to see the university bringing into the community. Speaking of which, shout out to my kid's new PE teacher, Evansville's own Lily King. He appears to be having a great time this year over at Benford Elementary, where she's student teaching.
That's amazing. We've had Lily on the show before. She is a great ambassador, not only for Indiana University, but she's just a solid citizen, a solid individual, and she's your son's a lucky guy in a lot of ways.
Well, you know what though? I mean, he's already. Both of my kids have got to work with Tyra Bus through the athletic department's engagement in the community schools. Amanda Cahill. I can rattle off probably a dozen soccer players, baseball players. It's awesome for those guys to be immersed in the community like the department tries to engage them. I think it gives a lot to both people, both the student athletes as well as the elementary and the middle school kids around town. And more than anything too, it just makes Bloomington that much more awesome of a place to grow up.
I agree with you, man. When's the next episode of Mind Your Banners coming out?
That's a good question. We are probably next going to be dropping the official season preview. We kind of did a break in the ice back, summer's wrapping up. Zach and I kind of had that panic. Oh shoot, it's August already, and we haven't talked in a little bit. I've been on hiatus for a little bit, so just kind of get the dust off of that one. I know we haven't talked about anything this week, but my guess is we're going to bring on Dr. Clavio again and do kind of like we did last year. We'll have a 2-part season preview. This should be dropping probably here in the next couple of weeks. So I got to start studying up on that and figure out when we're doing that, because I know it's something coming. But no, we spent last week. Alex McCarthy was back in town. Shout out, man. He was en route from left Michigan back home to left Alaska back home to Michigan on his way to Virginia. So he swung through for a couple nights. So we got to catch up off the record with him. And yeah, we totally didn't do any planning for the pod. So we're going to get on that here shortly, but we should have a preview coming soon. We're back on SoundCloud, iTunes, Star's got all that. And since the merger, we haven't gotten fired yet, so we're pretty stoked about all that.
That's awesome. Great. I appreciate it, man. And I could not be happier to have Chronic Hoosier back here weekly. It's just amazing to have you. You're one of my favorite guests each and every week. The conversation is always engaging.
Hey, man, now that you're in B-Town, too, looking forward to seeing you at all the ballparks around town, because it's a couple weeks away, and we'll be back out there under the lights.
I'm out and about, man. I appreciate it, Chronic Hoosier. Welcome back. I hope you had a great summer and a great rest of the fall. We're ready for some football, but thanks a lot, man. I always appreciate and love having you on.
Thanks for having me. We'll catch you guys next week.
You bet. That's Chronic Hoosier. We got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you from the golf club at Eagle Point Studios here in Bloomington. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the program today. Man, it was great talking to Chronic Hoosier. Great having him back on the show. Looking forward to that as the football season and actually just the sports season itself continues here in the fall. Got soccer getting ready to take off. The Hoosiers ranked number 2 there. So, Media Day coming up for IU men's soccer tomorrow. I'll be out there. I'll be live from Bill Armstrong Stadium. Actually, I'd already planned on doing that because the women have a match at noon, and so I was going to do the show live out there tomorrow for the women, and which I'm still doing that, but also now we've added men's soccer media day is going to be going on, so we got all kinds of stuff happening, man. I'm not sure exactly who all we're going to have on tomorrow. I think they'll probably have the women's coach Benecom on, hoping to have Coach Todd Yeagley on, of course, and some players. So excuse me. So who knows, man? Just looking forward. We're winging it. We've just been killing it, though, with guests. Hope you guys are enjoying the show as we try to bring you the best each and every day and complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers. Had the opportunity to talk to Coach Tom Allen. The Indiana football program now deep. Today will be practice number 12, which we're well over a third, not quite to halfway, almost halfway through fall camp. But they had a scrimmage on Sunday that Coach likes to call preseason game 1. And actually that ended up being opened up to the public. And the media didn't know anything about it. None of us were out there, so we didn't get to see that, unfortunately. But Coach Allen was kind enough to talk to us about that. But the biggest question, of course, going into the next couple of weeks is going to be who's going to be QB1 for Indiana. Who's going to win that starting position at quarterback, because that's obviously the most crucial part on the team. But the sooner they can do that, the better for the program, because that way whoever the guy ends up being can take most of the snaps with the number one team. The sooner he does that, the more of a rhythm they can get into, and the offense can get into that rhythm as quickly as possible. I know a lot of people think that they're going to go into this first game and split it half for this quarterback, half that. I don't see that happening. I think they're going to name their quarterback, and that's going to be the guy. But we had the opportunity to talk to Coach Allen about all of that. He talked about everything, including special teams, defense, the whole deal. Let's hear what Coach Allen had to say.
Good, really good scrimmage on Saturday. Very encouraged by overall. There's some areas, obviously, we got to continue to work really hard at, but just thought the guys competed well. Thought that we had a very good, offense versus defense competition part that both sides were making plays. Thought we had too many holding calls on the O-line, so we got to work on that. Had a Big Ten officiating crew here, which was great to talk to our team, and even had a couple pass interference on defense, which was good to get those called, but they were costly at key times. Both sides of the ball had some penalties that I thought took us out of position to make plays. But as an overall evaluation, just thought that the group competed well. Thought that got a lot accomplished. Some really good special teams work in with our punt protection, going live with that and working on that. I think Hayden's really punting the ball extremely well right now for our kickoff. Work was really effective, and Nate Snyder has really been kicking the ball well, and a lot of good hang time on his kickoffs and distance, and Jared Smolar as well is working hard and had some good kicks as well. So pleased with those guys, their work, and just felt like that it was a good next step for us. A lot to evaluate, a lot to get better at, but really felt like that our guys really took that first scrimmage, and we call it preseason game number 1, and it was a good measuring stick to see where we're at and what we got to reevaluate and adjust for this next week to get ready for preseason game number 2, which is going to be on Saturday.
Are you where you thought you would be at that point? I know you mentioned some penalties that you didn't like to see, but
yeah, I mean those are kind of typical. Something at the beginning, you don't have the officials in practice every single day, and if you ask the D-line, the O-line holds every play, so if you ask the receivers, the DBs interfere with them every play, so it's good for me to get those officials here so I can just say, hey, that's up to them now. They either called it or they didn't, but yes, you get that. That's typical of the first scrimmage, I think, and so, but yeah, I would say in some ways, in terms of just the knowledge of a new offensive system and the way they execute it, maybe a little bit ahead of what I thought we might be. I think Coach DeBoer, he and I have talked, we would both agree with that. And then defensively, just the lack of mental mistakes has been encouraging. Guys in the right fits, guys in making the right checks and adjustments. So just a lot of guys that are involved that are doing a lot of good things. So probably maybe a little ahead in both of those areas in terms of execution on each side of the ball. Now we just got to get to where we're doing it at a high level all the time.
I guess just to get it out of the way, where are things at quarterback? Has anything changed? Is there anything maybe narrowed down in your mind, or is it still?
I tell you, it's almost harder than ever because I think all three of them played pretty well, and so it's still open. I mean, they just got to keep doing what they're doing and got to find a way to separate themselves a little bit. But no, I don't know that Saturday made it any easier or clarified things at all. But you see what they can do, and they all do good things, and I think. Which is good. I mean, I want to have a lot of good options and want to have guys that can make plays, and so I thought our receivers they're really playing well right now in regards to catching the football and getting lined up right and running routes, and so it's just a group that kind of sticks out to me. And obviously the quarterback play is part of that, and all three quarterbacks are able to do some good things, so I think that helps. And but just really think that group of guys, quarterbacks, receivers, all the work over the summer, I think is really paying off.
10-11 practice in, Coach, from a health standpoint, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, that part's been encouraging. We've had a couple guys, and Reese Taylor's got a hand injury, but he should be okay in time. And Gary Cooper had some lower leg injury that he had worked on a little bit, so he'll be out a few weeks. But other than that, guys are pretty healthy, and you got your typical hamstrings and things like that, but nothing so far that has kept guys out of much practice. So, and we're trying to manage that and do a really good job. Like today's was by design to be able to give our guys a rest and recovery day, as well as a really, really effective situational practice to work on some specific things, corrections from the scrimmage, as well as getting some things squared away. But I was glad that we didn't hit today. I think we've had a lot of good physical practices so far, and trying to do a great job. I want us to be a really, really good team that practices really well on our feet in shells, that has great tempo, great intensity, great thuds, and learn how to tackle that way, learn how to block that way, and then keep everybody on their feet. I think it's positive for everybody, but just learn to practice that way without taking guys down all the time. We'll still have some live goes here the rest of the way, but those will be pretty controlled.
Didn't see Donovan out there. Is it just a rest day? Or
yeah, today's a rest day. Okay. Yeah, by design. So he's had a really good fall camp.
Whether it be quarterback or anywhere else, as you get deeper into camp, are there some positions that you start to think, hey, I want to start to kind of make some decisions here, or are you still in the mind of
we are.
Leave a lot of stuff open?
No, I think that as a staff, we had conversations yesterday after the scrimmage just about, getting more specific into the ones and the twos, So I think you'll see more of that practice, less emphasis on the threes because of just reps, needing to get more reps for those guys, and then so the twos will be a combination of certain threes and then the guys that we're trying to get ready for game day, So still not in game prep mode yet, but this next week leading up to preseason game number 2 is going to be a big emphasis on getting the guys ready that we think are going to be playing for us on Saturdays. And so you'll see a little bit of shift in that for sure.
The physicality in the scrimmage, was it what you wanted?
It's good, and we've tackled well throughout fall camp, which needs to continue. We're going to keep working on that, but I think that it's just that balance between the two of how many live goes do you go, how much is enough, how much is not enough, how much is too much. So really in that mode right now, and we got certain guys on offense that I know what they can do, so getting them tackled or receivers going to the ground doesn't make a lot of sense probably for certain ones. So, but I think you got to start managing that for sure. But at the same time, there's guys that we still got a lot of youth. Those running backs got to take those hits so they can get ready to secure the ball and be able to be effective on game day. So yeah, that's just you kind of find yourself in that situation every year at this time of the year. But so far, we just got to keep making good decisions with that.
With the quarterback race being as tight as it is, and obviously probably going down to the last week before the game, you get confident that guy's going to have enough reps, whoever that guy ends up being?
Yeah, and I think so, and that's where we have to do a really good job with those. And that's why, the sooner the better, make a decision for that for sure. But we're just not ready to make that call yet. But I do think that that's part of the thought process as well. And that's why we did practice longer and may do that for a little bit, but not much longer. We got to get the guys honed in on who's going to be the one out there on Saturdays.
So you took a lot of freshmen that knock on the door to be in the rotation or play, but one guy at a tough position, Matthew Bedford. Ideally, I'm guessing you guys would probably like to redshirt him, but how tempting is it to, I know Coy Cronk's in front of him, but he looks like he's a guy that could play right away.
Well, there's no question. I mean, if you could redshirt them all, that's ideal, that you get a chance to develop them. It's just not going to be reality, So I just, he's really progressed. There's no question being here in the spring was huge for him. And I think that he's behind Coy right now on the depth chart, but you talk about having, who's your next best offensive lineman that you have to insert somewhere, and so right now he's that guy, and so, but he's still, even today, his head was spinning on some things, so when you start being in there all the time, that way we try to give him some more reps on Saturday, but he's, I don't think we'll be redshirt with Matthew Bedford. I think he's going to play.
You've talked a lot about Caleb Jones, I guess, conceptually or through the spring, through the off season, but now that you are here in fall camp and you're getting close to the business end, are you seeing kind of the mindset you want to see from him in terms of really holding that right tackle spot?
Yeah, you go through and you, like you said, you sit a young man down at the beginning of spring and you see what you think he can become, and you know what you recruited him to come here to do, and you set that out and you challenge the guys around him like we have with Coy and that whole group, and he's responded, and I was positive about him after spring and into the summer, and he continued to do what he had done before and even probably take it to another level for summer where it goes, and he's continued. So he's playing his best football right now since he's been here, and I think everybody on our staff would agree with that, and so we just got to keep climbing with him, so very proud of him. He can't let up, he's where he's at for a reason, and he's really accepted the challenge of being a Big Ten starter, now he's got to do that every single day, because you can't just, we're all all of us have to keep getting better. And that's where the depth behind him and a guy like Matthew Bedford to say, hey, this guy's waiting to chomping at the bit to play too, so, but at the same time, Aiden Rafferty's really come along and made a lot of progress as well. So I just feel like that, we needed Caleb to step up, and he has, and so I'm happy for him and happy for us. He's got to continue.
Coach season, when you get DC duties, one thing you said you want to do is be more involved with special teams. How's that gone for you? How do you feel like that unit's come along so far in the first 10, 11 days?
Yeah, well, a big part of special teams is recruiting depth and speed and athleticism, and it's that, to me, is where we have been hurt in the past, where we got exposed a little bit as injuries would mount, and guys would have to be in those situations and all that open space that happens on special teams, and we got, it hurt us, so having a lot of these young defensive players, and it's an easy place for them to get reps. They don't take as much time to learn as the defense might learn, or even the skilled guys on offense, so I expect that to be better. Our recovery units, which is a big indication of that, and then the specialists themselves, the kickers and the punters, and Hayden is having a great camp, really encouraged by his progress in his pocket punts. He's always been good on the move, and really good job in we call them goal punts when they're trying to pin people inside the 10. He's done a great job of that, and obviously Logan is doing my tape. Charles is right there, and we told him he's the best kicker kicks. I know Logan was the kicker last year, and I'm not trying to create any pressure on anybody, but Charles Campbell's kicked extremely well in fall camp. So those guys are competing, and obviously Charles already redshirted, so he'll get a chance. We got to get him some live game kicks, as the season unfolds. And so, but I'm encouraged by that, and I think, like you said, I already talked about Nate and Jared Schmoller for the kickoff. They're battling, they're competing for that job. So I like the competition that we have going on there, and I like how Hayden's turned into a leader. We if you ask our strength staff, they're like he leads at the level of a captain, in regards to effort and toughness and work ethic in the weight room, and just the mindset that he has, which usually have specialists in those roles, but he's put himself in that position, at least be considered, So, but that's and he leads that whole group, and so. And that's exciting. He was on our leadership council, and he's really taking charge of that. So you want to see it in all three phases. We got to keep getting better on special teams, and I believe that we have a chance to be better.
All right, thanks,
Thank you, guys. Leo, have a great day.
There's Coach Tom Allen, Indiana's head football coach, with the absolute most complete update we've had in a while. It's the first time we got to talk to him in about a week or so, but you heard it all, man. He touched on everything, the quarterback, the defense, even the kicking, so everything there. But been a great show. Thanks a lot for joining us. Great to have Chronic Hoosier back. Look forward to his weekly visits now. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, live from Bill Armstrong Stadium. So make sure you tune in for that, as it's IU Men's Soccer Media Day, and the women's soccer also has a match tomorrow. So we've got a lot going on. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Jake for keeping things on the track. We appreciate you coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back tomorrow with more Indiana Sports Beat. I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.